Hi, my name is Richard McGrew, a note investor and software engineer. I created NoteRules to help note investors organize their businesses. Today I'm going to walk you through installation and setup to show you how, in just a few minutes, you can be up and running. And specifically, today we're going to talk about how to install it, how to do some basic data entry, and then a little bit about the workflow and how to manage your notes once you get the data in the system. Now it's going to be a very simple setup. Shouldn't take us very long, and we'll just walk our way through it. To get started, we're going to do installation. So the first thing we need to do is go to NoteRules.com and click on the sign up, and we'll show you how to do that on the page. We'll then go out to Podio and create an account or log in if we already have an account. And NoteRules has chosen to use Podio as the baseline service provider for our CRM. We chose to base NoteRules on the Podio system. It's very extensible, very easy to use, and supports a lot of great CRM-based features. NoteRules then extends that solution beyond what Podio does and adds automation and other note-specific things to help us expand the note investor's business. Once you create your Podio account, we then need to authorize NoteRules to work with that Podio account. And then finally, we need to install NoteRules. We start with signing up. We're at NoteRules.com. We click on the pricing tab, and then we scroll down to the plans table. You can see there are different plans depending on the features that you're interested in. Scroll down to the bottom, let's click on Get Starter, which is the free plan and helps you get going in your business. We start by entering a username, a password, our first and last names, and then our email address, and click Submit. This takes us to our membership confirmation page. And we can see there our next steps are to check our email for our confirmation email and click the link for installing your software. So we head over to our email. We see that we get a confirmation email from NoteRules. If you don't see your email, check your spam folder. Sometimes the emails will fall into your spam folder. Click on the Get Started installing your software link. This will take you back to the browser, and it will open a window to start your installation. Simply click on the blue link button, and you'll notice that it takes you to Podio.com. If you don't have a Podio account, you'll need to click Sign Up. This takes just about 2 minutes and is super easy. You start by entering your email address, your full name, create a password, and click Sign Up. We head over to our email, and we see an account verification email. Click on the green Confirm button, and this will take us back to the browser again for our final setup on Podio. It asks us for a business name. We entered Note Investors LLC, and it asks us for our business size. So we enter the business size. That's all the information we need to put in, and we can click Done. We can skip through the demo, and now we have our very first Podio account. Our next step is to head back to our confirmation email from NoteRules and click on the Installing Your Software link. That brings you back to the NoteRules link for installation. Click the link to continue installation. And now that we have a Podio account, it's going to ask us to grant access for NoteRules to be able to access your Podio account. Click on Grant Access, and the software will begin to install. At this point, it takes about 2 minutes for the software to fully install and configure. Okay, once you get the message to go check your email, then go get your email, bring up that box, and let's take a look at it. It says, congratulations, your NoteRules installation was successful. And then there's a link to click on to go to your NoteRules portal. Okay, once your installation is done, we're going to get into data entry. Today, we're going to enter a couple of companies. These companies are entities that you work with, whether it be a servicing company, the entity that you're using to purchase assets, a lawyer. Then we're going to enter a couple of assets to show you how easy that is to get going and get your data entered in there. We'll link the assets to the individual companies that we create so that we can show you how the linking works and how simple that is to set up. And then finally, we'll assign a couple of next steps to each of the assets so that it's very clear how the workflow works when you have due dates and next steps, things to get done. Now, the NoteRules portal is organized as a set of apps. Each app has got a specific purpose, and you will start initially only using the Assets app, the Companies app, the Contacts app, and possibly the Transactions app, depending on what you're doing. As you get more involved with the system, you might decide you want to start sending email campaigns or SMS campaigns, or you want to use some of the other more advanced features like contacting your servicers and pulling all of your servicing data into your portal, or sharing your information with third parties. But for now, we're just going to create a couple of assets to show you how to put your data in the system. We're going to create a couple of companies, a servicing company and a purchasing company, the company that you use to purchase the asset. And we'll show you how to link those up. And for each of the assets, we'll create a couple of next steps and show you how to manage your workflow once you're in the system. Let's start by going to the Companies app. Like I said before, we're going to create a servicer and an investor. We'll start by clicking on the Add Company button. Then we go in and we'll create this servicer. We'll call them the Big Servicer. And we will set the company type to servicer, and we'll click on Save. For the purposes of this demo, I'm not going to include the phone number and other information like that. I could have, but we're not going to do that. I'm now going to navigate back out to the main Companies app and click on Add Company one more time. And I'm going to create the Big Investor LLC. And I'm going to set that company name to, or company type to Investor, and click on Save Company. So not too exciting, right? Pretty simple. I've created two companies. One company, the Big Investor LLC, is marked as type investor. There's no phone number or email. And then the Big Servicer is marked as company type servicer. Again, no phone and no email. Very simple. Let's go ahead and do the same thing for assets. Okay, we're going to follow the same process. We're going to click the green Add Asset button this time, and we're going to go ahead and create an asset. Let's try 333 Main Street in San Francisco, California. There's a nice little map to where we're going, and we'll just click Save Asset just to get the data to save off to the database. Okay, once we click Save Asset, we will have the information in here, and a few seconds later, some of the navigation bars and other summary items show up as well. So we can come in here and let's go ahead and enter in purchase date. Let's say we purchased it on September 1st. It's a first lien, it's a note and mortgage, performing note, and it is, let's say it's already paying. So I'd like that. It's first lien, note and mortgage, performing note, and it's paying. And we're not going to bother to set the terms of the note. We could easily do that here. We could set valuation and borrower's first and last name. What I want to do next is set up a couple of links to those companies that we created. Earlier, we created a purchasing entity. We called him the Big Investor, and look at that. There he is in the pull down list. Click on that and click away, and now he's linked up. And then we also created a servicer. So let's go ahead and link up the servicer, and sure enough, there he is in the list. Okay, so not too difficult. Now we've created an asset with some content. There's lots of other fields we could fill in, and we'll get to that later. For now, I'll go scroll back up to the top, and we'll notice that we did not fill in the task management section. Now this section isn't required, but this is very helpful in helping you manage your assets and run your workflow. For this first asset, we're going to say they're a performing loan, and we're going to say our next step is contact the servicer to get latest payment information. All right. And we'll say it's going to happen about a week from now. We'll say on the 8th of September. Okay, that's all we need to do. Let's navigate back out to the assets view, and we'll see our asset now in the table here on this assets page. So you can see here's the asset address. Our next step is to contact the servicer. We need to do that on September 8th. It's currently a paying note owned by the Big Investor LLC, and it's being serviced by the Big Servicer. So this is good information. This helps us understand at a high level what's going on with this asset. Let's go ahead and add one more just so that we have some more data to look at. Let's try 5432 in Kansas City, Missouri. Again, I put the address in. I'm going to click on Save Asset. And a couple seconds later, you can see that here's the navigation information all fills in. Well, let's go ahead and pick a purchase date. Let's say we purchased this on the 3rd of September. It's a first lien also, but it's a contract for deed. It's a sub-performing loan, and let's say that right now they are delinquent. Okay, we'll fill in this other information later, not so necessary today. Again, let's say that the same company bought it, the Big Investor LLC, and we're servicing it at the same company, the big servicer. All right, and then, so that's simple information to put in. Let's go ahead and put in some next steps, or a next step. So let's say this is a delinquent loan. Let's say we contact, let's contact counsel. We get a demand letter. And let's get that done 2 days from now. Let's say, let's do it on the 3rd. Okay, in this next section, we're going to cover the workflow. The NoteRules workflow basically walks you through the process of checking on your assets and identifying which ones have next steps and when those next steps are due. You then go in, execute those steps, and before you finish on any given asset, you update your next step and due date for that asset so that you can come back around and check your next steps the next time you come in to use the system. It's quite simple. We'll show you how to use it. All right, so we're going to navigate back out to the assets table. Now here you see these 2 assets that I've entered, and I want to point out something that's kind of interesting here. This data is organized by due date or by the follow-up date. And so what this shows me, if today was, for example, September 1st, I know that by the 3rd of September, I need to reach in there and contact counsel on the asset on Northwest Wacomas. And I don't need to do anything on the second asset on Main Street until September 8th. This is a simple way to keep track of what the next step is for each of your assets. Okay, I've walked you through today how to install NoteRules, how to do some basic data entry, and then some basic workflow to show you how to check on your assets. Your next steps are to go out to NoteRules.com, sign up, and then get started. And if you have any questions, watch the day 1 through day 5 videos. I think you'll find those very helpful.